How's it going, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. So thank you guys again for joining us for another Sunday Stock Talk. Pretty much what this weekly video is about. It's pretty much just a breakdown on kind of how last week went throughout our days of trading and kind of what to look for this upcoming week. So if you guys didn't see, I've been trying to upload recap videos a little bit more consistently, if not every day. The only day that I did fail you guys was on Friday. I actually didn't upload that video until today. So I do apologize for that. It's just pretty much there's no excuse. I'm going to try my best to continue uploading daily recap videos so you guys can kind of see what it is that I look for when it comes to identifying a stock to be labeled as a good buy, and my best practices, my mistakes. So those new members that have completely do not understand anything about trading can kind of learn from my best practices and my mistakes as well. And from there, you guys can kind of build, in a sense, just the fundamentals and learn the fundamentals of trading, and hopefully, be able to just put that together and being able to research, stocks or discover stocks yourself, and which will kind of lead to your success there. So kind of do a quick little recap on last week's trading. ATEC was probably one of the most common stocks that we did end up trading. Last week, I brought close to $2,000 of profit within the 5 days of profit. So one of my most successful weeks. I am risking a little bit more when it comes to a $3,000 account. The total return I saw was nearly 100%. Not really. It was more like 80% return within that week of trading. So overall, just really good week. There was a lot of traders that were in our group chat that were just listing all the profits that they were making. So huge shout out to them. I do want to give a huge welcome to all the new members that we did end up seeing coming up this last week. I believe the last week or last week and a half, we saw about 200 members join TechBud Solutions. So if you guys are not too familiar with what TechBud Solutions is, the link is going to be provided for you down below, and that link will take you to our Facebook group. It is a free group that you can join, that you can, in a sense, network with like-minded individuals to learn the basics and fundamentals of investing and trading penny stocks. Is mainly what we do in our group chats. And if you guys would like to be a part of our group chats, that my email is also down below. You guys can email me and ask me for the welcome document, which is where we actively trade Monday through Friday. I actively trade for the first 2 hours and then respond to questions and alerts for the hours to come, just because I start my day around 9:30, kind of just getting things started. So I'm a full-time student. It has been kind of difficult keeping up with my classes, keeping up with just my job, and as well as trading and getting back to all you guys. So I believe I did respond to all the hundreds of emails that I received this past week of this week was probably one of the most busiest weeks when it came to school and trading, and it was great. I really do enjoy it. You guys have been sending me amazing emails just telling me about kind of your success and your best practices and kind of what you want out of this group. So I'm really happy for you guys to be a part of our team and kind of see what we can do together. So I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. I want you guys to really just focus on just what it is that I'm looking at to label a stock a good buy. But this upcoming week, I'm going to be uploading content that's going to be a little bit just more beneficial for the newer members, and teaching you guys what is a penny stock, how we go in filtering different stocks themselves, how to create a watch list, how to set a stop loss, just the whole kind of just system of what it just the steps of trading and kind of how to get there. Because I know for those that never traded before, although we talk a lot about just technical analysis and stuff like that, you guys might not be there and might not be too comfortable. So just wait, and this upcoming week we will be uploading a couple videos on that. So if you guys can just subscribe or stay up to date with our videos, and we'd love to be able to help out any way that we can. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, again, my email is provided for you down below. So I'd love to be a part of your success. So let me know what I can do for you. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen, talking to you guys about kind of what stocks I'm looking at for this upcoming new week, and the support levels, or safety nets like we call them, which is where they bounce, and then resistance levels as in where they hit and then come back down. So that's, we mainly do technical trades, and I'll get a little bit more into that. So let me start sharing my screen. Alrighty, so ATEC being one of the most common stocks that we did trade last week, I do want to say that it did first have a support level around 118, meaning this is a 5-day analysis through the Fidelity Brokerage Company. For all those that were asking the question, do I have to have a minimum balance of $2,000? When you have a traditional IRA or traditional Roth account, you do not. There's different accounts that you can open. You can open just your traditional brokerage account. I believe it has to have a minimum balance of $50. So if you guys can fund that to get this tool, doesn't mean that you have to use the 50. So it can kind of just sit there, and then once you pull it out, then just you don't have to use the brokerage company anymore. But I highly do recommend it. It doesn't cost you anything to use this platform. So this is the advanced chart, and pretty much what we're looking at. So 5-day analysis. So this is the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. We see that it bounces at 18, hits highs of pretty much highs of 30. I know it does hit highs of 35, 33, but realistically it tends to come back down below 30, meaning that that's a resistance area. The support is around 318. So it gives you about 12 cents of profit or potential profit margin to be able to make. So if you can plan it correctly and you have pretty much what our plan was to get in at 318, set a stop loss at 317, and with that stop loss, what that means is you control how much money you lose. So these are stocks, and these do are very volatile. So let's say all of a sudden it breaks the support and starts going below. Since you have that stop loss at 317.99 or whatever it is that you have it at, it will sell automatically at that point. It will cut your losses, and at least you can control the amount of money that you win. So if you go in having a price point where you're buying in, where you're cutting your losses, and where you plan to sell at, you have a complete understanding of what you're doing with the stock. And that's been really why I think this past couple of weeks we've been so successful as a group, because I've been emphasizing on how important that is on understanding and having a complete plan on what to trade, when to trade, and why. So again, we identified the support at 318. We identified the resistance at 330, and we had our plan to stop loss out at 317.9 or anything below that. So we did it. We traded about 2 to 3 days above the support at 318, and then all of a sudden on the 26th, I believe pre-market, it was already down. And with that, we knew that the support was broken. I went a little bit further back, and we were able to identify that the support was actually at 307 a couple weeks back. So as you guys can see, it had that support at 318, just like it did there. It dropped all the way down to 307 or 309, and then it picked back up. So with that, we knew that the second support after it breaks this one was most likely going to be around that area. So as it continued to drop, we were waiting for the bounce, and luckily we were able to catch that bounce. I believe on that initial bounce, when it bounced that low, I caught it at 313 and then was able to ride it to a little bit under. I think 325 is where I locked in the profit. Hit highs of 330, or if not 340. But again, when you have a plan, stick to it, and with that you can lock in profits and you don't have to be greedy. So it continued to go down. This was the 27th, so Friday, and this is where we kind of got stuck. If you guys saw my recap video today, we got in around 307, and it just wasn't able to break the resistance at 320. Therefore, just weren't able. I wasn't able to lock in the profits that I was looking for, going above 325 to 330. So with this, we did hold this one. I do have a stop loss at 310. So all of a sudden, if it starts taking a dip, I'll at least cut my losses at 310, meaning I still have a 3-cent profit margin because I bought in at 307. So at least locking in my profits. But if it continues to rise, then but I'm not going to hold anything more than Monday, and that's pretty much my plan. I'm in at 307. If anything, cut my losses at 310, and I know the resistance right now is at 320, so that's where I have my alerts. So when it breaks, I plan to sell around 325 to 330 and cut my losses at 310 to lock in my profits, and that's pretty much my whole breakdown when it comes to my plan when it comes to ATEC. The next one that we're going to be talking about, DGAS. DGAS overall had a really nice bounce. It had one at 320, hit highs of 380, and now is staying, if you guys can see here, there's a support at 350, and that's why it's holding so well here around 350. So what your plan or what your understanding can be, if you guys can kind of treat these as different levels. So a level from 320 to 350 is just let's call it level 1. And then the level from 350 to 375 can be level 2. And then once it breaks, usually, 380, it can go up to, 420. So with that, understanding those different levels, pretty much the easiest way I can put it for you is if you plan on getting into DGAS, have a plan. So understanding that this is a support around 350, and if it drops below 350, it's most likely going to bleed back down to 320, which you don't want to ride down. Therefore, because you'll lose about 10%. Pretty much what I would suggest, and again, you guys have to do your own technical analysis, but the support at 350 seems to be pretty, strong. Buying in anything around 350 to 360 seems to be a good buy. Buy in, cut your losses anything below 350, as that can kind of give you the signs that it's going to continue bleeding back down. So you cut your losses short, so around 2.5% at max, just to control and minimize your loss, and sell around, or just understand that there's a resistance level, as you guys can see here, around 375 to 380. So having that complete plan on, setting your alerts when it's going above 360, 370, 375, 380 can give you an understanding on, how much, where you're kind of standing throughout the day while it's rising. Once you get filled at 350, meaning that you bought in at that price, set an order to set a stop loss if you guys are using the Robinhood application to sell at 3.49. So when it breaks below 350, then at least you can control the amount of money that you're going to lose. So it'll sell automatically at 350. You control, if you bought in at 350 to 349, you lose 1 cent out of $3.50 stock. So that's less than 1%. Minimizing risk, promoting growth, as you can understand that this is a support level, this is a resistance, you're expecting a bounce, and again, you're setting yourself up for success. So that's pretty much my breakdown for DGAS. If it does end up breaking down below 350, does not mean that's horrible. You cut your losses at less than 1%. Not a bad thing. Wait for the bounce around 320, as that's another support. Again, what are you going to do here? You're going to buy in around 320 according to your own technical analysis, understanding that old safety nets become new resistance levels, meaning that as you can see, when it initially came down here, it bounced at 320 and hit a resistance around 350, meaning that it struggled to go above 350. So a good sell point would be around 350. And if it breaks above it and you already sold, then you can buy back in and be selling around 375 to 380. So, and cutting your losses anything below 320 if you got in around 320. So you could set your stop loss at 319. So having that complete understanding, you'll truly understand like what to expect. You have everything planned out, and kind of just leading to your success. So you can pretty much identify all these different kind of just trends and setting up all these different plans when it comes to trading every stock, which we highly suggest. SC, this one's not one I really want to talk about too much. I did see a very strong support around 310. So pretty much a plan, as it does have, that 10% potential, does have a resistance around 340, meaning that, you can buy in at 310, set a stop loss at 309, because most likely it's going to bleed back down to 293. So by buying in at 310, you can control your loss by selling at 3.99 or 3.0999, meaning you cut your losses at less than 1 cent. So with that, you have a plan. Understand that there's a resistance at 340, so that's a good target price to sell, and a good buy point and is anything around that support. So it's holding very well. Just see how it opens for SCYX during pre-market hours on Monday, and make up a plan. If not, if it breaks below, then you'll cut your losses and you'll lose less than 1%, and you can buy back in at this safety net. And again, cut your losses anything below the 293, and you can identify these very easily as wherever it bounces, that's considered a support, because it tends to hold pretty well above that area, and it seems to have a resistance around 307 initially, and then it broke the 307, broke 310, hit highs of 320, and then came back down and was bouncing between that area. It looks like on the 26th after market hours, or the 25th after market hours, it hit highs of 340, so we could identify that as a resistance and 340 as a resistance. So just have a complete plan on where to buy, where to sell, and where to cut your losses, and understand where the safety nets and resistance levels are, and that will lead to your success when it comes to trading. NUGT, as being a gold company, has been doing very well. So it bounced really well around that 350 area, 348, hit highs of 1020, as that seems to be a resistance area. If it breaks 320, then that's let's call it the second level. Can bounce from 1020 all the way up to $11, as that's another resistance level. So with that, not the full 10% profit, but that's more like 8%, but still a good target price. Have a whole plan when it goes, like to buy in at that point, cut your losses short, set your alerts and understand or just stay up to date on where the price is at. So understand where you're buying. So understanding that 948 is a good buy. Cutting your losses, anything below that is a good idea, and then selling around $10. And then when you sell at $10, locking in like 6-7% profit. You could sell there. If it breaks $10, again, you can buy back in. And if it drops below it, then you can cut your losses. And if not, then you can ride it from the $10 just safety to the $10.20, or if it breaks at $10.20, then you can ride it to the resistance level. And the reason I know there's a resistance level at 1075 is because of this right here. As you can see that it hit 1075, came back down, 1075, came back down, 1075, came back down, and it bounced between that area. So with this, when this week comes, we can understand that from 1020 to 1075, there will be a resistance or just an area of trading. So hopefully you guys find that somewhat helpful. That's pretty much my breakdown. I do want to talk about one more, and that is CIE. CIE has a really strong support around 112. But again, it's not all about jumping in. This is one that we were talking about pretty heavily when it came to Friday as it bounced down there. Not a lot of us jumped in because there wasn't a lot of volume. And with that, we just didn't want to jump in and use a day trade and jump right out. So with that, let me go a little bit further back. It has hit lows of 310. So with that is like, if you buy in at 112 and you kind of want to average out, you can buy back in at 110. So you'll have an average of like 111, which is still a really good buy. As the resistance level or a good sell point that we've been able to sell at is around 320. So understanding that the resistance is at 120 and the support is around 110 and 112, being able to buy in at that price, sell at this price, definitely, close to that 10% profit margin. And then cutting your losses anything below 110. So having a complete plan. Being able to buy in at an average price of 111 is not a bad idea, and selling anything from like 119 to 120 is the ideal sell point. But it has hit highs of 130. But again, don't get too greedy. Just lock in those profits, especially for those new traders. Lock them in, at 119.99 or at 120, whatever it is that you feel comfortable or you understand as a good sell point. Support around 111, 112. And cut your losses anything below 110, as that is a very strong resistance. So when it breaks 110, it's most likely going to bleed back down based on the trends for CIE. Most likely, let's go to 3 months. As you can see, it doesn't within that 1 month analysis didn't bleed below 110, but it has hit lows of 90 cents or 80 cents. You definitely don't want to ride it all the way down, since you'll be losing 20-30% profit when it comes to trading. So cut your losses short. Have a understanding on where the resistance is when it comes to trading these stocks, and have a complete plan or complete understanding when it comes to trading. So understanding the support levels, understanding the resistance levels, buying in, setting a stop loss, setting your alerts, knowing where it's going, and removing your stop loss, and then setting a limit order to sell at your ideal price point. So that's pretty much the breakdown for this week's trading. Hopefully you guys found that somewhat helpful. I know I talk kind of quickly when it comes to these things, but I really want you guys to focus on what it is that I'm talking about support levels, resistance levels, and stop loss. Those three things will really lead to your success. When it comes to anything, if you cut your losses short and you can control how much money you lose, and you promote growth, as in like you only trade stocks with one of our rules and tech solutions that have 10% potential, that will lead to your success. Being able to buy in at good price points, selling at 8 to 10% profit margins, if not more, cutting your losses 2.5% or less will truly lead to your success, as you're minimizing loss, promoting growth, and you have a whole plan and a whole understanding on where the safety nets, where the resistance levels are, and a complete plan on where you're buying, where you're selling, and where you're cutting your losses. And with that, you become, in a sense, 5% or 1% of those traders that will not lose 20, 30, 40% of what it is that you're trading, because you truly understand that you're getting in at a good buy, you're cutting your losses if it goes below that buy, and you understand where is a good sell point. And again, we're day traders, so we don't want to hold these stocks overnight. So hopefully you guys found this video somewhat helpful. If you guys would like me to elaborate on anything else, my email is going to be provided for you down below. And reach out to me. I'd love to be able to help you guys any way that I can. Thank you guys again so much for joining us for, again, another Sunday Stock Talk. And if you guys would like to be a part of this group, I am going to provide you with that link down in the description. It's a Facebook group you can actually join for free. And if you want to join the group chat, it is another free group. I just have to add you to that. So feel free to email me and kind of tell me, what's your name, why you want to be in the group, and kind of what your goals are. I want to have a better understanding of, who it is that I'm helping out, and want to make sure that, my platform is a good, program that can help you individuals. And, from all different sorts of ages, even if you have, no understanding of what it is that you're trading, or you've never been into business, there's a lot of you that I feel that just kind of doubt yourselves because everyone in your family or no one in your family has really gotten into business. So with that, don't even worry about it. I mean, we're right now sitting at about almost 1,200 members worldwide. All different countries, all different ages, all different experience levels, but we're all one group. And the whole point of this group is to be able to share best practices and share mistakes, so those that are reading it can learn from those mistakes and best practices to promote growth. So hopefully you guys can understand that. And if you guys have any questions, again, you guys know how to reach out to me with my email down below. Thank you guys again. Hope you guys have a good Sunday. Let's make sure that we start the week on a good note. Take care, guys.
Turn up.